Republicans now pressing for key information about the criminal case on Hunter Biden. But the U.S. Attorney David Weiss says he will not meet their deadline. This is a new report finds that 3 top Delaware prosecutors were taken off the case right before the charges were filed. Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy with me now. It's sir, nice to see you, and a happy 4th of July to you on the day after. Thank you for your time. David Weiss sent Jim Jordan a letter on Friday afternoon. He pretty much denied all of the claims that are made against him, including this one. I've been granted ultimate authority over this matter, including responsibility for where, when, and whether to file charges, and for making decisions necessary to preserve the integrity of the prosecution. He went on to say, if I want to work in D.C. or Central California, I can do it. Someone's not telling the truth, Senator.
Well, Bill, I guess I'd make 2 points. Number one, it's almost always the cover-up and not the crime. And number two, I'm repeatedly amazed at how many smart people there are in Washington, D.C. who have no sense. Look, I don't know if Mr. Hunter Biden committed a crime. I sure don't know if President Biden committed a crime. We're trying to get the facts. But I do know this, and I think the American people can see it. The Washington managerial elite, the establishment, if you will, is working harder than an ugly stripper to cover up whatever happened. And that's all that Congress is asking for is the facts. And to the point that they have no sense, the elite in Washington think that the American people don't see that they're covering up and that they're being obstructionist. Maybe it's a reflection of the contempt they have for the American people, but any fair-minded person can see that that our effort to get to just the facts are being obstructed.
Yeah, Gary Shapley's the whistleblower. Here's a quote from him. He says, none of the 3 were involved in the underlying investigation during Gary's tenure, to my knowledge. What they're talking about are 3 prosecutors who apparently worked on Hunter Biden's case for 5 years, and then they were removed recently. What would explain why that would happen, or is that just a regular course in law? Well, that's why we need the fact. I mean, just look at this from 35,000 feet. Let's suppose you're an important government official, Bill, and very powerful, and your grown kid comes home one day and says, Dad, good news. A bunch of Russian companies and Chinese companies and Romanian companies and Ukrainian companies have just hired me. They're giving me millions of dollars to give them advice about stuff I don't know anything about. Now, what are you going to do as a responsible government official? You're not going to say, don't tell me anything about it, but be sure and share some with your sister. You're going to try to find out what's going on. And the White House's story is that the president knew nothing about any of this. And, I mean, it just doesn't pass the smell test. Well, if you want to figure this out, then you got to put him under oath. And he said that he would accept an invitation from House members. I welcome the opportunity to talk about these topics with the committee in more detail. If that's the case, you bring him in, you swear him in,
yes,
and you work for answers.
But you also have to have the documents, and you have to have the emails, and you have to have the taped telephone conversations, and that's what the House is trying to get. I mean, it started with Hunter Biden's laptop. They tried to convince the American people that it wasn't real. And it was. And I think many people in the federal government knew almost from the inception that it was real.
Senator,
and so a lot of folks lied to the American people.
Do you think there's obstruction here?
It sure looks like it.
Well, time will tell, and maybe we get that hearing on the Hill and find out together. Senator, thank you for your time. John Kennedy, thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.